Back, Totally Driven Radio. Frank, busy tonight. Guest after guest after guest.
Always a good thing, my friend. Always a good thing.
Well, we've been trying to. What we've been trying to do here is, bring guests from all around the world, the country, all around, because something very important part in everybody's life, I'm pretty sure, is music. So we've been trying to bring a musical guest to everybody each week. We've had guitarists, we've had country singers, we've had rappers, we've had metal bands, hard rock bands, and we're going back into the world of country this week, and we're going all the way to Alaska for this one. For the Alaskan Cowboy, Doug, is it Briney? Make sure I have it correct.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's Doug Briney.
How you doing, Doug? Welcome to Totally Driven Radio.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here with you guys tonight, and I'm doing pretty well.
How's the weather up there? Is it cold, snowy?
We've got some overcast sky right now, about 30 degrees outside, so it's not too bad at all. It's March. It's starting to warm up. We're getting a lot more light, and it's looking good.
See, now, I know what myself, automatically you think Alaska. You always think it's always snow.
Yeah. Well, from about late October all the way through April, we've got snow on the ground. So, we've still got a lot of snow out there, but it's warming up. We're getting the longer daylights. The sun is coming back, so we're not in the short sunlight, and so it's very nice out there. March is one of my favorite months.
Great. All right, so the Alaskan Cowboy, Doug Briney, is here on Totally Driven Radio, and I'm going to tell you, Doug, I'm really not too much of a country music fan, and it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I actually came over to, it was called the dark side of country music when we had Amy Rose on, and now we have you on, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I said to Amy was, being not a big country music fan, I listened to the music first, and I'm like, hi, well, this is actually pretty good. I mean, it's good, it's catchy, it's sticking with me. I'm like, all right, he's doing something right. I got to give him the green light.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's funny. It's a lot of folks will say, they're not much into country, and one of the first questions that I ask is, how much have you listened to? And they'll respond, well, I haven't listened to anything. I haven't listened to it for a long time. Well, how do you know that you don't like it? If you haven't listened to it, if you haven't listened to it, how do you know that you don't like it? And it really is country music. I think tells stories and tells stories about life more than any other genre of music that's out there. And I think that's what resonates with people when they hear it, is that they do identify with some of the stories that are there.
Well, how about your style of country music's more, I'll say, of the older classic style of country, but now it seems more modern country is more pop edged. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you feel it's people just trying to cross over, or record companies being very influential in this, or what do you think of that?
Yes.
Yes, I like it.
I think it's all the above, and then I also think it's just the evolution of the music. You go back to Eddie Arnold. That's the first albums I used to take from my dad was an Eddie Arnold album, and we had yodeling on there and some different things. That was country music, and my dad will tell you that's the only kind of country music that there is. He doesn't believe in today's country music that it's country music, but at the same time, when Elvis came out and he started singing these songs, he was not thought of as a country artist either, and yet we know he's one of the most influential artists ever to come along in the country. We always think of him as being the king of rock, but his contributions to country music was phenomenal. And so it's moving, and it's record driven. The recording companies. It's driven from there. It's driven from the fans. It's driven from certainly sales and what sells is a part of it. But even with the more pop sound and the edgy sound of country music, I think you still hear the stories of life. You still hear these things. Red Dirt Anthem by Jason Aldean is a prime example. You still hear a fantastic story being told in the song, and you still hear this. And I think that's a backbone. It's certainly not the only thing that makes up country, but it certainly is a backbone in there. In country is telling a great story and something that folks can relate to about life. The joke was, what do you get when you play a country song backwards? You get your dog back, you get your wife back, and you don't lose your job, or you get your job back. But, that's a lot of that, and you still hear some of that in country music, but it's gotten to be more songs about really life and where people are at and lessons that they've learned and those type of things. And I think that's a good thing. I'm not totally. I sometimes wonder how far we're going to push this before it starts pushing back and the sound will become more traditional again. And there is a big movement in that. One of the songs that's on my CD, It's All Country, and it really does talk about that. We all do come from the same tree. We're part of the same family. It's all country, and that's what the song talks about.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I can picture myself actually sitting down and having long conversations about music with you. I like the way you look at it, and the way you think about it, and it's dead on. It really is. I got to applaud you.
Well, I appreciate that. It was funny. I have a cousin who is leading some conferences for me this week at our church and doing that, and he's a brilliant man. But we were talking about music yesterday, and he's really into jazz and the roots of some of that. And so we talked for a couple hours yesterday, and it was a lot of fun to talk about music.
Now, I was going through your bio, and you started singing at a very young age.
Yeah.
Now, were you singing through school, or was it just for fun, and then later on you started pursuing it, or?
I'm going to say the same answer I said earlier. Yeah. My first solo was in church when I was 2 years old, and I grew up singing in church. And being part of youth choirs. When I got into high school, I was singing a lot in church. I didn't sing in the school choir. I played in the band and played, trumpet and marching band, and I was part of that. And so music has always been a part of my life. But singing, I sang while I was in high school and all through high school. When I got to college, I was a music major and a vocal major. So singing has always been a huge part in what I'm doing, and I would sing wherever they would let me sing.
Now, you're also a pastor as well?
I am. I serve as pastor for the Cowboy Church of Anchorage.
Wow. Now, your music, is it religious themed or just country life themed, or?
Yeah, it's country life themed. I call it whenever I'm asked to name the genre of what I'm doing, I call it positive country. I want to sing country music that talks about life, but it talks about it in a positive way. It gives us some direction and those things. It's not necessarily it's not gospel music, it's not religious music, but it has a very positive message.
Wow, but that's the best music. I mean, positiveness all around. I've gone through a lot in my own life where I've been I've suffered from depression and stuff, and I've really tried to change and just be a very positive thinking person to bring that over in all realms of my life and everything I do. And it really does help. And positive music is such a help. Attitude
in life is everything. I'm really excited. We're CBM Records has taken It's All Country, our album that I have out right now, and they've taken over the distribution of that, and I'm real excited with what they're doing. But I'm really excited. I've got a new project that we're working on, and Tate Records is going to be recording this. I'm going to be heading down to Oklahoma City sometime in April here to record that project.
Nice.
And we just got all the things done, and one of the songs that's in there, talking about the positive outlook, one of the songs that's on this new project. It's called "I Get To," and it really does. It talks about, I used to say this. I used to say I had to do this. I used to have to take care of my dad, and I had to hang out with him and cut the grass, and I hated those kind of things, and I used to have to do so much, but I don't have to do any of that anymore. I get to, and it really is your attitude, and it boils down to how do we face life? How do we face life's challenges? Do we look at them as problems, or do we look at them as opportunities and to become better in who we are and to overcome? And there's a lot of positive to that, and that's I try to be a very positive person in my outlook on life, and I try to pass that on in the music.
That's great. One thing you said when you first started, you said CBM has taken over distribution of your album. Now, your album came out actually last year. It's called It's All Country. Now, did you release that yourself independently, and they picked it up, or?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I produced it and did all the work on that myself and introduced that. Our launch date was March 9 last year. Almost exactly a year ago, I released that and had Michael Stover with MTS Management. I hired him as manager and to come on, and he's taken over a lot of and done a fantastic job with the promotion and publicity. And through his work, CDM Records then has taken over the distribution of that album and the digital distribution of that, and has been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, I mean, you go through your bio, and I mean, the list is endless of all the charts that you've ranked on, whether it's been digital or regular video and sales. I mean, it's just impressive. You should be really proud of yourself.
My cousin and I were talking music just yesterday and for several hours, and he was asking me about that. He says, you had to have started longer than a year ago, and I says, we really haven't, and it is very humbling to the inroads that we've made, especially when you consider I am in Alaska. I'm pretty remote. Was talking with Michael Stover the other day, and I did a motorcycle tour this summer from Anchorage, Alaska, down to Southern California. It took me, 5.5 days to get to Southern California from here. Before that was just getting back into the United States,
wow.
Into Washington. It took me 4 days to cross. We're pretty remote here, and that was doing 14 hours a day on a motorcycle. We're pretty remote, and to have the kind of success, to have the fans behind us and industry professionals behind us, the way that they are is mind-boggling and very humbling, and it is really, really exciting.
That's awesome. Now, am I correct in saying you were originally from California?
I am, yeah. I was originally from Southern California. My dad still lives in the same home that I grew up there. He's lived there about 46 years now, I believe.
So when you went to Alaska, did you go to Alaska to pursue your dream? I mean, is there like a big music scene in Alaska?
No. I graduated from college in 1988. My wife and I got married, and we went and worked at a church in a little town called Bath, Michigan. And we were there for 4 years. And my father-in-law came up to Alaska and started a church here in Alaska, and we moved up to help him with that church. And we moved up actually to we came up and visited and fell in love with the state, and we moved up then to help him with that work in the church, and we've been here ever since. We've been here the past 21 years. Wow,
that's incredible. All right, well let's play a song. Let's play off of your album. We're going to play More Than Just a Farm, your first song. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Great. All right, well, we'll let everybody know what they can experience when they listen to Doug. It's good music. It's country music. And if you're out there listening, you're going to love it because I said so. So let's listen to Doug Briney, More Than Just a Farm.
Freckle-faced little guy came flying up the drive, Mom and Daddy tagging right behind. City folk head to toe, Mama's fancy high heel broke. Yeah, I'd seen it all before a million times. They asked, can he ride the tractor? Can he pet that cow horse? Well, I laughed real loud, said I'm on my plow, told him all about the farm. It was my daddy's and my grandpa's, that old barn where I sold my first kiss. It's my past and my future. It's my home where I raise my kids. My blood's in every acre, I've planted every seed. When I die, well, rest in peace. Yeah, it's more than just a farm to me. Skinny as a rubber band, whisker face and summer tan. That boy came back to work, my grandpa's last. Hands got rough, he got tough, made of the right stuff. That high school boy grew to a man. My family gave him 20 acres on the day he took his bride. Well, he cried out loud, said, I'll make you proud, 'cause you're the man that changed my life. And you said, was my daddy's and my grandpa's, that old barn where I sold my first kiss. It's my past and my future. It's my home where I raise my kids. My blood's in every acre, I've planted every seed. When I die, well, rest in peace. That's more than just a farm to me. Then he said every night, kneel to God and pray. Someday my own grandson will say, was my daddy's and my grandpa's, that old barn where I sold my first kiss. It's my past and my future. It's my home where I raise my kids. My blood's in every acre, I've planted every seed. When I die, where I'll rest in peace. Yeah, it's more than just a farm. It's more than just a farm. It's more than just a farm to me.
All right, that was our guest, Doug Briney, with More Than Just a Farm, and that is off his debut CD. And that CD is It's All Country. Doug, where can I get that at?
You can get that. Go to DougBriney.com, DougBriney.com, and we have a store set up there on the webpage. You can purchase a physical copy, and I'll sign it, personalize it for you, mail it out. Or we have the links to the iTunes, directly to the iTunes page here as well, and so you can order through any of the digital outlets. But encourage folks to head to the website, and they can pick up the CD there. They can pick up some fantastic merchandise. We've got Austin Hats, one of my sponsors. We have a link to their store, as well as to Exotic Stainless Steel buckles. They with myself and them got together, and we custom designed a belt buckle, and it's called the Alaskan Cowboy belt buckle. And it's got a moose on the front of it with Alaskan Cowboy written on it, and it's just a fantastic buckle. And so they can pick up all that stuff, and that's the only place they can get it.
That's cool. That's cool. Look at you. You're marketing too. Yeah, not only music but marketing.
Well, I don't know how much marketing I do, but I do direct people to the web page, and they can pick those things up directly from the web page. It's a good thing.
Well, something you did in your career was you got to perform with Kelly Clarkson before she won American Idol.
She was up here. I actually performed the wedding. Her brother's wedding is how I got to meet Kelly. And there was a brand new television program that was coming out, American Idol, and she had just auditioned for that and had made it through to the, I guess it was about the third round. And her brother, Jason, I performed the wedding for him and a young lady by the name of Jennifer. And I did the wedding, and before the wedding, we were supposed to have the rehearsal, and everyone was about an hour late except for Kelly. And so Kelly it was Kelly, Jason, and myself got to be there for about an hour, and so we were hanging out for about an hour and a half or so before everybody got there, and got to talk with her a lot about music and sing and just sit down at the piano and the guitar and just jam, and we had a great time. And then, like I said, that was right. I think she was about the third round in this brand new program that was out at that time, American Idol. Who knew it would go this far? And the success of that would be what it is for her, and certainly some other artists that are out there as well. That's
an awesome story. That must be incredible, because nobody ever thought she'd become the star she is today when you have an experience like that with her.
Exactly. I mean, we were just sitting there, we really were just sitting around hanging out and banging on the keyboard and guitar and singing and having fun. We were making up songs and making up lyrics as we kind of went along, because we'd forget the real lyrics to the songs, so we just started making them up, and we had a great time. And she was very personable, just a sweet young gal, and it was a very fun experience, and then it was really fun to see her win.
That's awesome. So, what's your plans next? What's up next for you?
The biggest thing we've got going right now is getting this album underway, and I'll be heading down to Oklahoma here sometime in April to record this. We've been putting a lot of work into this. Michael MTS Management has done a great job in getting me a lot of songs, and we went through song selection. Is probably, to me, one of the hardest things about putting an album out and finding the right songs. I'm not a writer, so to find the right songs that really resonate with me and mean something to me, and I think tell a good story, and that I think I can sing for the next, hopefully 20 years, and people will still want to hear them, and 20 years from now. Looking at the longevity of this, and so that was hard, and so that's really where we've been focusing on. About a week and a half ago now, all the finals, everything was finally put in. Actually, it was Sunday. It seems like a lot longer than that, but Sunday, all of the final paperwork, everything was finally submitted to Tape Records, and they've given approval on all the demos. We're just waiting word back on all the lyrics, and then we're scheduling the recording time, and so that's next up right now. I've got some shows. I'm doing a show Saturday evening. I'm doing a show next Wednesday, and then next Friday evening have another show. So I have several things coming up in the pipe on that, and excited about that.
So, something else too I want to plug for you. People need to go onto YouTube and check out your YouTube videos. But there's some like homemade videos, I guess, that people just filming of you singing the national anthem at a few different sporting events. And
yeah.
Wow, what an incredible, and I'm not just blowing smoke, incredible version of the national anthem. Wow.
Well, thank you. I was really honored. We have this little tiny event in Alaska called the Iditarod. It's the world's longest sled dogging race, and it's underway right now. And I was really honored. Saturday, I got to sing the national anthem, the Alaska state flag song, for the opening of the Iditarod with an international audience watching on television. And I honestly don't know the number of people that were there at the opening on the streets, but I would guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 35,000 folks there. And
wow.
I was really honored to get chosen to sing the national anthem for that, and it was a lot of fun. It was cold. It was about 28 degrees that morning, and standing there in the snow, getting ready and trying to stay warm to be able to do that. But had a wonderful time doing it. And then Iditarod folks took great care of me and put us right up on the front. So we got to see the mushers and the dogs heading out there. I mean, giving them high fives as they headed out. It was a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, everybody needs to watch that video. And actually, he's being quiet, but I do have a co-host, my co-host Frank, who is being quiet. Before we let Doug go, is there anything you want to add? Because you actually are a big country music fan.
I'm just sitting here. Sorry if I was sitting back. I'm still in a little bit of pain, so I was just kind of just trying to sit back and not interrupt the show. But Bay, I'm glad you touched on the national anthem. I watched that and I was really blown away because I'm a big fan of the national anthem when it's done right and sung live. And I thought, Doug, your version was great. It was moving. And that says a lot because I know that's a hard song to sing. And the fact that you can go out there and do it and do it in public, like, and I didn't know you did the Iditarod, and that's a big deal. You know, so that's honestly, that's a lot to be proud of. And you know, a lot of these, so you know, a lot of other singers. Number one, the Iditarod is cold. It's and people would just not want to do it, or they pre-record it. And the fact that you just went out there and nailed it, just shows like the kind of singer and the quality of singer you are. And I really enjoy your song more than just a farm. Mm-hmm. And I think there's nothing but good things ahead for you.
Man, I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, you know, I said it the day before. I have a special place for country music singers because I think that they go out there and they do put their heart into the song. You know, they sing them. I think the reason a lot of them are so passionate is because you've lived a lot of the songs you're singing, and
that's it.
You know, it's you feel it. And like I said, I was blown away by it. I'm looking forward to getting the whole album and hearing more because everything I've heard so far I really like. And, you know, when it comes to country music, you know, I go back to probably the 70s and, you know, you got that, I want to say classic style, but you also putting a new twist on it, and I like that.
Yeah, and I think part of that, I appreciate that, and I do think a part of that goes back to some of those earlier influences. You know, Kenny Rogers was the first album I ever owned. Lee Greenwood, the first concert that I ever went to was Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers, and so those are the roots. And you know, now I hear more modern influences. You know, got Chris Young, Toby Keith, and Trace Atkins, Ronnie Dunn, and some of these guys that are modern. You know, really influence I think some of what I do, but. I really appreciate that you can hear some of the classic, but that you know that there's also we're trying to stay relevant. We're trying to stay I'm trying to stay relevant with the music, and I go back to this new album that we're working on. Man, I'm so excited to bring some of these songs, and I'm hoping that folks will really just like them as much as what I do, and I think they're going to be really pleasantly surprised with the songs that are on here.
Well, Doug, it's been a great time talking to you. I can't thank you enough, and you also are slowly making me a country music fan. Between you and Amy Rose, you guys are bringing me over.
There we go. Just one song at a time, man. That's all it takes. One song at a time. Get that song stuck in your head, and find that song that you can identify with, and it'll become one of those life songs for you.
Well, you have one of those
before
songs.
We let you go, I do got to mention one thing. So far, every musical guest that we've had on this show, within the next week or two, has had a real big announcement. So I expect you to keep up that streak, and. Because it's funny, we were just talking about that last week. We're saying, like, everyone that's been on the show, and we're proud of that. You know, we're introducing people to some new singers that they may not have heard, and then the fact that within a couple weeks something really good happened. So I'm hoping the same for you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. We're working on some things behind the scene, and so your prediction may be right on.
All right,
Well,
we'll keep posted.
Yeah,
All right.
keep us updated, and make sure everybody go to Doug's website, DougBriney.com. That's Doug BRINEY.com, and you can go there. You can order his CD. You can also go to iTunes and get his CD. It's all country, and he has hats and belt buckles, custom designed by himself. So go buy his merchandise, buy his music, and make him proud.
All right.
All right, Doug. Thank you so much. Take care, and keep